election coverage you can count on this morning. And we're joined by Mercyhurst University political analyst Dr. Joe Morris here to help us break down some of those national races and things happening all around the country.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. Thanks so much for waking up and coming in to talk to us this morning. No presidential race, of course, on the ballot for voters today, but there are some races that might have some national implications. One specifically not too far from us over in Ohio, where this issue number one is all about guaranteeing reproductive rights. And it's all, of course, on the heels of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade last year.
With the decision in Dobbs, which gave states more flexibility in deciding when women can access abortion and for how many weeks after pregnancy is determined. So what we see in Ohio is essentially a decision about this issue. Is Ohio going to become a state that's more protective of abortion rights with a constitutional amendment, or are they going to follow the path that many states have chosen, which is to be more restrictive when it comes to abortion?
And you do a lot of polling up at Mercyhurst University. The polls at this point seem to indicate that that voters will look to guarantee those reproductive rights. What's your sense of how Ohio voters will go today?
Yeah, Ohio, if Ohio goes that route, it'll be somewhat surprising. Ohio is a fairly conservative state, so the idea that they're going to be less restrictive when it comes to abortion is something that's counterintuitive. But if the polls do suggest that that is the trend, that's what we're seeing, so that may end up being where we're at by tomorrow.
And you talk about trends, this vote in Ohio comes after a number of states have kind of put this issue, so to speak, to their voters, and it seems like a pattern has kind of emerged.
It is. Abortion is proven to be an issue that gets Democrats to the polls, gets people who are protective of abortion rights to the polls, and that's something that's going to, I think, play out really well for Democrats. If that issue of abortion can continue to drive voters to the polls, it's something that's really going to help Democrats in the 2024 presidential election.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think is interesting to bring up as we get ready to go out and vote today. Not everybody does because they feel like, oh, it's not a presidential race. Why would I?
Yeah, you know, the way our Constitution is designed, it's designed so that the national government isn't as important in our day-to-day lives as what goes on at the state and local level. And we have races across the United States today where voters are deciding at the state level issues that are impacting each one of them from the time they wake up in the morning till the time they go to bed. We see it in Virginia, voters in Kentucky and Mississippi. Across the United States, voters are making these big decisions.
And of course, we've got a lot of those sorts of decisions on the ballot for voters here in Pennsylvania and in the northwest corner of our state to talk about. And we'll do that coming up in the next half hour when we bring the voting preview down to a more local level. Dr. Joe Morris from Mercyhurst University. Thanks so much for your time. We'll talk to you again coming up in the next half hour.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Sounds good.